Social, which will be with a DJ and desserts. It's $10 per person, and you can still sign up. This Wednesday, March 20th, we have the bus trip to Parks Casino. There's still some seats left for that. That's $30 per person. Wednesday, April 3rd, we have our Atlantic Cities Resorts bus trip, $25 per person. Monday, April 15th will be a health lecture called Brain Games. There's no charge, but we do ask that you sign up with the concierge. Our April show will be April 21st, 3 p.m. in the ballroom. It's a Motown tribute called Shadows of the 60s. Tickets are $25 each. Our May 15th New York Theater District bus trip is on sale now. That's $30 per person. On June 8th, we will have our first car show. Cars and motorcycles of all makes and models and years are welcome. The flyer has more details. And our paper mill. We have our
Sure, management report, please.
Hopefully I won't have the same problem again. So I have a report that as of now, can change any moment, but as of now, all of the gate arms are working. They have all been repaired. I know that there's a lot of issues with security. And we've heard a lot of questions and concerns about security. I had a meeting last week with the executive director and the operations manager. And our new procedure is as soon as an issue is reported to us, we email it directly to these two gentlemen. And they act on it immediately and send me back an email letting me know what the status is. So it's very important because I want the executive director and the operations manager to know every single time there's an issue. So if there's an issue, please email myself, please email Susie, any of us upstairs, and we will then send it directly to these two people. And they have been responding to me within minutes. And they are going and checking cameras. They're calling the resident that reported the issue, discussing it with them, getting all of the details. So they really are being very responsive. So please, if you have an issue, please make sure you let us know. The other thing, we had a question on the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac approvals for resales. And the attorney is handling that, and she's going to get back to us and let us know how we can qualify for those options. So when someone buys a home, they are able to get these types of loans because currently they cannot. And one of the last things I have is now that the golf settlement has been agreed upon, we had to obtain a letter just letting anyone that buys a home know that that legal issue has been settled because it will pop up. So we now have a letter from the attorney, which releases our obligation since no longer an issue. We no longer have ongoing litigation. And that's all I have. Okay.
Thank you. Under the law of business, does anyone want to add anything to the items that were brought up? Sir G?
As you know, our gate operator, the basic system, the mechanism that drives it is totally obsolete. We've been using the so-called bandage approach for years. You can only do it for so long. So our next meeting, I'm going to suggest a subcommittee. We're going to dig into it, the root cause, find better choices, whatever's out there, the latest in technology, whatever. And we will come up with the proposal, price, how we're going to do it, and the time frame. I want to get rid of this nuisance once and for all. Ma'am?
Okay,
And entry gates. the one on the library side, Prospect, and obviously the main.
Does anyone else
Hey.
have anything to add?
Yes, I do.
Karen, go
Um,
ahead.
With regard to the roof and chimney status, we are in the process of signing a contract with our new engineers. The engineers are directly responsible for the roofing. They will help us pick out the roof company to use, and then we will proceed forward. I'm not sure whether they are going to redo the status of which homes go in what order, but we'll find out after we sign our contract.
All right, thank you. Anyone else on anything? Okay, seeing no one, we'll move on to new business. Carol, you have something to tell us about the emergency procedures at Town Center.
So going through the information which we have upstairs on the emergency procedures, I found a document which outlines everything that's to be done and all of the information as to what can be done in the building. But from reading through it, there is some conflicting information in here. So what I would like to do is have the board go through this and discuss it with management so that we can produce a brand new document that's going to bring everybody up to date and that's going to correct a few things in here that are a little bit conflicting. So just wanted everybody to know that I would like to work on a new emergency procedure with the board, and then that will be sent out to the community.
Okay, thank you. Next item we have is McDonald's zoning application. I will defer this to Joe.
I guess you could hear me now, right? Whoa. Okay. This has been an ongoing thing and it's my passion, actually. It doesn't belong in the Concordia parking lot, okay? The application was dismissed without prejudice and brought back again with the help of some people who are engineers and told them actually, okay, this is what you need to do to get it passed. They came here, they got slammed. We all know that. Okay, now it's coming up on March 26th at the zoning board meeting. We all need to be there. Okay, there are a lot of issues going on. Some of the traffic, safety, trucks idling at 2 a.m. to bring goods and services into a loading dock and a whole bunch of things. But here's the main thing. They're asking for 27 variances. That's got to tell you something. A variance is something that needs to be waived. That's an ordinance, okay? Here's the main one. As part of the application, the applicant seeks to use variance approval pursuant to, I'm not going to give you the numbers, for the proposed fast food restaurant with drive-through, which is not permitted use in the zone. This came across many years ago when that Stop and Shop Concordia was erected. This is a small town, people. We don't need this to be Brooklyn or Staten Island. That McDonald's thing is a stupid, dangerous issue. So please, if you can, March 26th at the municipal building, we're all going to be there. As a matter of fact, we have one councilman who's basically helping me on this, and it's not the council people that represent us. I have a problem with that. I'm meeting with him at 10 o'clock tomorrow. We're going to meet with Kevin McGowan, who is the Assistant Business Administrator of the town, who's been very forthcoming with me on giving me plans. Okay, I've looked them over. Now I'm going to go with the councilman tomorrow who knows about this stuff, and we're going to discuss it. It's funny because when you look at the plan, if you can actually get it on the website. It says articles for the zoning meeting, and you can see the whole thing. All right. There's a footprint of the McDonald's on the plan, and then there's 2 white spots with nothing written. That's Northfield Bank and Wells Fargo. These guys are real slick. They don't put the name of the bank there where it is. just put a blank space. So please help me out on this one. I'm for you. We don't need this. Doesn't belong here. Thank you. 6:30, March 26th at the municipal building. If we flood the place, they're going to have to cancel it. And then they'll take it to the senior center. What I've done that, I've blasted it on Facebook. I've got some really good responses. What I would like to do is, Kristen, if you can do this, make sure that an email goes out that the zoning board meeting is meeting on March 20th. You've done that in the past. I'd appreciate it. Excuse me? No.
Okay,
Just a minute.
we can't be having.
Okay.
We
I have
can't
to-
be, we can't be having conversations back and forth. Be having these conversations back and forth. Joe has, made it clear that the meeting is on the 26th. And the board is prepared, if need be, to pass a resolution in opposition to this. So it'll have a little bit of clout with the board and the elected officials in the town or whoever's involved with this process. So it came loud and clear to us last year when there was a meeting here in this room. There was about 100 to 125 people. And it was very clear that nobody wanted this in this current location. So the issue is the location where the McDonald's is going to be, not necessarily McDonald's. Nobody really had any gripe with McDonald's. It's the location of where this is. It's a dangerous shopping center to drive around in now. Putting something like a McDonald's there with a drive-through window is going to make it much worse. So we will do that if we need. Joe will go to the meeting and he will let us know how it goes. And if need be, the board will do that. Okay, everyone go.
Okay, as far
We're
as
gonna go.
it is not our position to pay an attorney to come and fight for whether or not McDonald's should be there. That is not a concern of our association. I would also have to say that we might pass a resolution, but we have not discussed that. And I can't tell you that everybody on this board is against that or for it at this time.
All right, thank you. The next item we have here is the B Bistro. This is just basically to work with management on placement of 2 containers that will need to be put in the maintenance area of the parking. And we'd like to work with them to make sure it's placed in the right area. So there's not any problems with the operations that currently go on there. So if you want to set up a meeting with me and whoever to discuss the location, I'd be more than happy to do that. Okay, thank you. Okay, we have the next item here, an AC radio proposal. This will require a vote next week. All right, any comment on that? Hold on. You're stealing the punchlines here. Okay, the AC radio control proposal. Carol, what do you have on that for us, please?
These are for radios for our security staff to have. Currently, they do not have them. They're not working properly. So this is to give them new radios so that they can communicate with each other, the guy in the roving vehicle, the guy up in the booth, with management during the day in the office.
So it's for better communication and for security purposes and,
Better communication, yes, to have live radio so we can contact them.
okay. Is there anyone on the board have any questions on this? Okay. The next item we have is the ONS draft contract. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped Modern Group Generator proposal. Carol, I think you have information on that?
Yeah, we have a contract with this company to do maintenance on our generators. And currently, we do not have a contract with them, although they're continuing to work on them if they need be. But we need to renew our contract with this company so they can maintain the generators.
Okay. Any questions? All right, we have next item is the ONS draft contract from Mary Bartlett. This is a contract, Barrett, I'm sorry. Oh, oh. This is basically a contract, I'm explaining to the residents, this is a contract for engineering service for our community. So we're entering into a contract with this firm ONS. They've been interviewed and vetted by the board. And we're excited to be bringing them on. We feel they're going to be working very good for our community. And there's a lot of things that they have to do in the year ahead. So that's what this is all about. It'll be a contract that will get voted on next week. But at this point, Karen, do you have something you want to say on this?
Say we're for our attorney to provide the final contract. Our attorney is extremely good. She was not going to agree with any contract for a long-term engineering firm unless we got what we feel we need. So we're waiting for the countersign from Owen and S. And then we will be able to sign our part of it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next item we have is the gutter cleaning proposal. Carol, you have some information on that?
Do have information on it. Unfortunately, it did not make it into the board packet. So I will provide that to you tomorrow.
Just since everyone's here, can you give everyone somewhat an idea what not the exact details of the proposal, but what the service is for and what we hope to accomplish with it?
So every year there is gutter cleaning that's done. And so this proposal will be able to give them authorization to come and clean the gutters. It's done here and it's done in the condos, in the clubhouse, And
Yes.
yeah.
Carol, one of the problems we had before, just so to make you aware, is that some people complained that they were doing the gutters in the front of the house and not in the back. So that's something that you should be aware of and make sure is in there and all of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item eight.
Tom, one question. About the
Question, go ahead. Go
about
ahead,
the
Joe.
gutter cleaning. I mean, we're paying $21,000 for gutter cleaning and flushing. Has anyone ever thought about gutter guards? Are they too expensive? I mean, is it? Maybe we should take a look at it because $21,000 a year for gutters and flushing when there's really no big trees around the clubhouse. Might be worth it.
But there's two different issues here. You have the,
Okay.
club-
God, they've shot him.
you have the gutters for the clubhouse, and we also have the gutter cleaning for the condos. And the cleaning for the condos is much more complicated because we need to look at the price with this, the new survey that is done to do the, oh, yeah, no, what I'm saying is the capital reserves, but we're going to have to do not just the gutters. We have to do the siding. We have to do a lot of things on the condos that have never been done. So we will get that all together and then we will figure out the way to go. As far as gutter cleaning, Greenbrier, I understand you pay for that yourselves, right? Okay.
So
Okay.
the gutter cleaning issue is also not the clubhouse, but the Whittingham condos as well?
Yes.
Thank you very much for clarification. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I made an error. It actually is in your board packet. I just didn't have it properly in my board packet. So it would be for the gutters to be cleaned and flushed in the spring of 2024, and for the gutters to be cleaned and flushed in the fall of 2024. So this proposal is to do it twice once in the spring and once in the fall.
I just want to add one more thing. We have just finished the first phase of roofing. With that, we are changing the size of the gutters themselves. Our original gutters were undersized. Now we're going to the larger ones. So to do gutter guards right now doesn't make any sense. But in the future, yes, we should look at it.
Okay, okay, thank you. Item 8, Kathy Donano, you have a year-end 2023 report for us?
I'm just going to give an update of where we are from a financial perspective so that everyone is aware. We are working, of course, with First Service. Let me start off there to transition to their financial system. So I'm going to jump around a little bit in the categories here, but their financial system is far more robust than ours. It will allow us some additional information, visual information that we will have. For example, we're going to have monthly statements. We're going to have reports that were not available with our system. We currently have balance sheet, operating income statement. We have a reserve statement. We're going to have 12-month, so monthly actual and projections. We're going to have a 13-month trend report. I don't want to get too technical. Just simply means we're going to be able to look at the trends in expenses. We're going to have cash receipts statement, prepaid assessment reports, just a whole slew of additional information that I think will make it easier for all of us to understand financially how we're performing and will therefore allow us better budgeting capability as we move forward. So I'm very excited about that. Okay, on 2023, we are still waiting for some information. Again, I'm working with First Service to pull down from our current system all the information for 2023. We've received a good deal of it, but it isn't yet finalized and we're still waiting. But we hope that by the end of this month, we will have all of the 2023 information. We will then meet with Budget and Finance for both Greenbrier and WOA, go over the documentation with them so they know where we are from a financial perspective, and then we will upload it onto the resident portal for everyone to look. As I said, the monthly statements we will be able to access through this new system, our monthly financials, and those will also be my arrangement with Sam, who is our First Service financial representative, is to upload those also. On financial staff, I just wanted to report that Irene, who is still currently working upstairs and was scheduled to retire, she has very kindly agreed to stay on for a few more months. Yep. Fantastic. In addition, she's bringing in, if everyone remembers, Libby, who is her sister. And between the two of them, we will much more easily transition to the new system. If we need them thereafter, they said that they are willing to stay on a little bit longer, but they do want to retire and enjoy their family together. Yeah. Oh, no. And I think that is all that I have. Yep. That's all that I have, and hopefully we will be providing numbers to everyone very soon.
Thank you, Kathy. Moving on to old business, merger update. Do we have anything new to add to that conversation? Jay? Okay, all right. Apparently, we're still waiting for some final language from the attorneys who have been involved with that for Greenbrier and WOA. Once we have that, we'll probably present it to everyone and let you see what the draft is. And we'll move on with that issue. The next item on the agenda is St. Peter's Nurse. Carol, do you have anything on that?
So I'm going to be contacting St. Peter's. I know we have a contract with them, and that's one of the action items on my list for this week is to contact St. Peter's. I know we've got revolving nurses that come every day, different ones quite frequently. And I'm going to see if we can get someone more permanent.
Thank you. Final, we have a course procedure for printing contracts. You have anything on that for us?
I'd like to prepare with the board's direction. I would like to prepare a procedure for printing of contracts. And if there's going to be a cost, I'll talk to the board about that, what the cost will be, just so that we have something in writing, so that we know what the procedure is if someone comes to request contracts.
Okay. Anything from the board?
Yeah, that what she's talking about is if somebody wants to make a copy of one of the contracts that we have voted, you can do that, but you have to pay per page. That is done in every community, that's done in every government office. That's the way it is. But the exact figure, I can't give you right now, but that's the way it will work. So don't be surprised when they say this particular contract and how much it'll cost you to get a copy. Thank you.
But if you make your own copy using your phone or something like that, there is no charge. So you don't have to worry about that.
So this is a procedure that the board adopted about 2 months ago. Brings us into conforming with the Bradburn rules that govern our community. Any contract that this board approves will be made available. First, you have to call the property manager's office to set the time up because they're doing other things. They'll pull the contract, they'll set it and give it to you. You can then sit there and read it if you really want to. Some of these contracts are 30, 40 pages long. I don't know if you have that much time, but you can certainly take photos on your phone, or you can request copies. They'll make copies, and it's 15 cents a page. So we're giving you the opportunity that was never made available before to get copies of these contracts and take them home, read them thoroughly, understand them. If you have any questions, you can come back to the board and you can certainly ask questions of the board on the contracts. Any other questions? Yes, you have to, it's got to be approved. Once the contract is approved, about a week later, the final copy will be given by our attorney to the property manager's office. It'll be on file there. And all you need to do then is make an appointment to come down and get it and see it. All right. We're going to move on to the open forum. And at the open forum, anyone who has any questions, this is the opportunity for a workshop meeting to ask questions. So just as before, if you want to come and speak, raise your hand. We'll recognize you. We'll bring you over to the microphone, give your name and your address. Go ahead, sir.
My name is Robert Blum, 7 Wellfleet. The one question I have is, if we go on vacation, all right, for us to park a car in the parking lot, we had to go see Jamie. Jamie called security. Security told us where to park and what number to park at. Do we still have to do that?
No procedures have been changed on that I'm aware of. So whatever you were following before continue to do the same.
So who do I go to see if I
The
want?
property manager,
The property manager?
property manager,
So-
and then security, just as you did.
So you still have to go to the property manager, then go to security, right? And leave the car, leave your, get it passed. Go back to property manager, have it signed, so I can park the car in the parking lot. I think you have to change that.
No, what I'm saying is, now, I don't know what the exact procedure is, because I've never parked a car as you're suggesting. But you need to let the property manager's office know that you're gonna park the car there, so they're aware it's on the property. Work with security. They'll, this question I guess I have here, then, does security assign the parking stall, or is that done by the property manager? Security would do, all right, so security will then assign you a parking stall. Security will have that, and then they should be notifying the property manager. So you don't need to be running back and forth like a ping pong. So those two steps, it seems what you need to do.
So I still have to go to property manager, to security, and back to the property manager.
No,
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Carmine Campanella, 80 Leeds Lane. I have two issues that I would like to discuss. And the first issue is the nurse at St. Peter's Hospital, St. Peter's here. I've been a resident, I'm into my 13th year. Currently, I am secretary of the golf board. There used to be a time that if something happened on the golf course, the nurse was allowed to come on to the golf course. Since Jamie took over, not only was the nurse not allowed on the golf course, and I was told this personally by the nurse is not allowed on the golf course. Number one, that's got to change. We are all residents and not everyone uses the golf course. But if something happens, we can't wait to call 911. If it's a heart attack, that nurse can be there in a couple of minutes with the AED before an ambulance shows up. A couple of minutes might make a tremendous difference. So that's got to change, number one. Number two is the issue of security. And this doesn't affect everyone, but there are homes in this development that back up to the golf course. Security used to come around with their car and drive on the cart path, especially in the wintertime when it's dark. Okay? If I'm a thief and I know that you're a snowbird and I know where you live, I can walk onto the golf course, find your house, break into it, and no one would know. And there's no reason why security is not allowed to go onto the golf course on the back. Not every home. Of course, you say, well, he doesn't come on my property. I back up to a neighbor. But the difference is you're backed up to an open area, which is between Chichester, for example, and Leeds. There's got to be a couple of 100 yards between us. So if somebody breaks a window in Chichester, I'm not going to hear it. So these are issues that have to be changed. Why they did it in the first place, I have no idea. It's not for the protection of the resident, because not having a nurse coming up in an emergency situation or having security and they tell me
All
call
right.
the police.
Enough.
That's not the right thing to do.
I'm going to answer this question because I was on the board when that rule was passed. The issue is a legal one. The nurse is not, the golf is a private corporation that has nothing to do with this community. Our nurse has no authority. We would be legally responsible for anything that happened on the golf course because that is not where the nurse belongs. As far as a heart attack, the nurse will anybody will tell you, it's call 911 immediately, not wait for the nurse to come onto the golf course to find the person, to figure out what happened. But that rule, as far as the legality, cannot change, and I will oppose it.
You know, I've heard this before.
Oh,
And the problem is, you say, well, the nurse, they don't have the insurance. First of all, St. Peter's Hospital carries malpractice insurance. we as the golf board carry insurance. If something happens and it's our fault, we're responsible.
Are you willing to pay extra insurance with a golf association? If the golf association wants to pay and be liable for anything that happens there, then we can talk, you can have your attorney talk to our attorney. But we, as an association, are not going to be responsible for what happens on your golf course, which has nothing to do with WOA.
Well, I hate the fact that.
Tom, we have about 30 seconds left
Okay.
on your time here.
Right.
And we can discuss this a little further if you like. But I think, as far as the board is in, we heard what your concerns are. And we can look further into it. But at this point, we're not going to be able to give you an
Okay,
answer.
thank
tonight.
you.
Thank you.
Marcia Forrest, 11 Whitehall Road. I wasn't going to bring this up, but since maybe it was Karen, everyone who lives in Greenbrier is a member of the golf course, whether they play or not. Part of our monthly maintenance includes, what is it, $35 or whatever, 34 for the golf course. So you cannot say that we are not part of it. And then there are homes in Whittingham that are golf houses, not all of them, but you really have to rethink this. And I think your attorney misled you or herself is misguided. You really need to review it. That's not what I came up to say, but since you brought it up.
Okay, well, now I'm going to answer you. Yes, everybody in Greenbrier belongs to the golf course. Okay? How do we all know how that worked? Golf sued us. 3 years have gone by with legal payments that had to be made for attorneys to fight with the golf course over what can go on the golf grounds and everything else. It just because you belong to the golf course does not change the fact that it is an independent corporation that has nothing to do with this community.
All right, hold on here now. We don't want to get into, this is not a debate on this. Okay, all right. Everyone's entitled to make this statement.
Okay,
You wanna- you wanna
that
finish
wasn't
up?
what I came up
All
to
right,
discuss.
you finish
What I
you're
want,
saying.
this is a question. Can you hear me? With respect to the radios or walkie-talkies for security, why doesn't the security company pay for that? Why? Oh, well, okay, that was my question.
Next one, please.
Hi, Linda Carrazzo, 34 Leeds Lane. I'm too loud? Okay. Oh, I like to hold it. All right. Anyway, Joe, I'm a diva, that's right. Okay, Joe, since you brought up about the McDonald's and the situation with the idling at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah, okay, everybody really needs to hear this. So I'm just curious, why aren't you concerned about the cars, the trucks, the 18-wheelers that come in and idle in our community at 4 o'clock in the morning, that I have my house backed up, that I see all this, okay? So that's just curious why the idling at a McDonald's is more important than what's going on in our backyard.
It's not more important to me, but that was my focus. My next focus is going to be on that. But just give me time. It's only been a week and a half. for
Okay,
me, okay?
all right, as long as you will
Okay.
address that.
Oh, just to let you know, there was an ordinance in this town 20 years ago that prohibited engine braking. That's when the trucks come by, yeah.
Right, and I hear that.
And I put the signs up on Prospect Plains. So give me some time and I'll work on it.
I
There
appreciate
should
that.
not be any idling because idling of a diesel engine in this town is prohibited.
Thank you very
I don't
much.
care whether it's McDonald's, okay, or Wells Fargo. Okay, or a clown run. It's not prohibited.
The trucks, excuse me, The trucks, we're going to discuss this here for me. The trucks by that house are not idling. They do not make that noise. She is the only person in the entire community.
So I'm the
who has
only one
ever
that's up
compl-
at 4 in the
who
morning.
has ever complained, including her next door neighbors on Leeds, who have never
So-
come and said anything negative
Okay,
about
my
it.
neighbor is a
You-
snowbird.
You
Okay,
didn't.
my neighbor, let me finish. My
No.
neighbor is a snowbird. My other
Oh.
neighbors, I'm up at that hour.
Excuse me, hold on, time out here. This is not a shouting match and we're not trying to talk over each other.
Every time.
Let the speaker get it.
Okay, I want to know,
Say.
okay, the other question I have is, since B Bistro is now wanting containers, and besides the rooms that they've taken over downstairs here, I want to know, are they going to pay us? I want to know, okay, I want to know if you're going to pay us. I want to know what kind of contract you're making with them. And I want to know what's happening with their hours and what they're going to do to better service us.
The contract is currently not signed, so all the negotiations will not be made until the contract is completed and signed, just like any other contract. So we're a little ahead to be giving information out when we don't have a signed lease yet. So hopefully next week we may have a signed lease, and if we do, that information will be made.
So I just want to say one other thing. If you would understand that this is a catering organization, company, and that's the reason why the trucks are coming in at the ridiculous hours they are. They're not servicing our community at that hour. They're servicing themselves. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Are you trying to say something? Barbara Rackbuck, 10C Rutland. I'm going to talk about golf for 1 second. You have a misconception, and it's causing us a problem in Whittingham. We don't belong to golf. We pay a maintenance fee for golf, the property, just like we'll pay a maintenance fee for the clubhouse, for the pool, for any amenity. We pay a maintenance fee. That's it. We don't belong to golf. All right, that's not why I came up. I came up to talk about downspouts and gutters. The company that did us last year stood up on the roof with a blower and they blew. They did not do anything about the downspouts. So I have 2 downspouts that never even trickle. Nothing comes out of them. And you can talk to the people up on the roof all you want. It doesn't matter. So if you're telling me we're going to flush, that's wonderful, because that's what needs to be done to flush out the little chipmunks. The other request I have is one I'm going to make publicly, and I don't want to embarrass anybody. There are a group of people in Whittingham who have gotten together because we are very upset about our money. And so we've gotten together. We have a proposal ready to go to the board. One proposal is that we meet just Whittingham people once a month, once every other month, once every 3 months, when necessary. When we meet as a total community, Greenbrier and Whittingham, we don't get a chance to really talk about the nitty-gritty problems of Whittingham. And we have problems that you do not have in Greenbrier. Okay? 2, we need to sit down and talk about money, seriously, because we have spent some time developing 3 proposals for keeping our HOA dues below 700 till the year 2030. It may not be perfect, but it is better than my HOA dues going to 700. This weekend, we had several open houses in Whittingham. And as soon as the people found out that the HOA was anywhere between 630 and 664, that was the end of the deal. We can't go on like that. We need to sit down and look at how we can spend money in the future so that we can say to ourselves, not, this is what I want to do, give me the money, but this is the money I can give you to do what needs to be done. I am begging you, please sit down with us before you sign any contracts, before you go and make any proposals. I know we're going to do a study with a new engineering company. They looked at the roofs last time by sending up a drone. And I said to the little man outside, it was a very young boy, I shouldn't say little man, it was a very young boy. And I said to him, what are you doing with your drone? He said, I'm checking out the roofs. I said, seriously, you can find the problems by taking a picture? He said, oh yeah, we can do that. Well, I don't think he can do it to the extent that we need it done. We don't need to do roofs that don't need to be done, and we need roofs that have to be done. We need your help. We're begging. And there's a group of us
All right.
willing to sit down and talk
Barbara,
about
I
it.
understand everything you're
Okay.
saying, and as
Thank
the
you.
Whittingham rep, I'm going to, one of the Whittingham reps, I will respond. We will be happy to sit down and look at the proposals you put together. However, all that work that you put into it may come to nothing when we find out from what the engineers and the reserve study, what we have to do by law. This is no
but the law-
longer optional. This is legal law in New Jersey.
I've read the
How-
law.
Okay,
I've read the
now,
law. It doesn't say you must do it.
yes,
says-
it does. It says you must do it within a time frame that is given to us. And
If my
you-
roof
if
is
you,
good for
wait a
20
minute,
Karen, wait a second yourself. If my roof is good for 25 years and this is only year 15, I do not have to do it, no matter what that reserve study says. It still says it's good for 25 years.
look,
My siding is good for 45 years. This
Barbara, we can
development is not 45 years old.
okay,
Don't tell me we work for
Good.
nothing.
if you
need
think,
to listen. That's the problem
You-
from the past. No
right.
one was willing to
When
listen.
I asked
Thank you.
you, wait a minute. I appreciate the fact that you care about Whittingham as those of us who live there do. Nothing was done to keep Whittingham together over all these years before I got on the board and insisted that they do those roofs. I have to tell you, I remember asking you about your roof, and your response to me was, I don't care if you ever do the roof. I said, you mean you'll wait till it falls in? And you said to me straight out, I'll be dead by then. That is not the approach this board can take. And
All
I-
right, Karen,
Wait a minute, I want to say
Karen.
something.
we're okay. Okay, I think everyone's made their point here.
Yes, I did, but I'm
Okay.
going to say
All right.
that what the law requires, we will do. And it doesn't have to come just from the maintenance fees going up. There are other ways to collect money, and we'll have to figure out after we get our requirements.
Okay, all right. Kathy, would you like to say something?
Let me just respond for a second. Barbara, I I do. Any suggestions? I'd love to see the proposal. I will say this, and I agree with Karen on this, and she is correct. Until we see that capital reserve study, and we are signing the contract very soon with our engineers, they are top-notch in the field of capital reserve studies. We are very hopeful they can turn this around with a sort of basis, meaning there is an existing capital reserve study, so it won't take them that long. It's not like they have to start from scratch. So I will certainly say, I think we should wait until that capital reserve study comes in to really draw any conclusions, because although I welcome it and I would love to see it, anything that you give us is really meaningless until we know exactly with the new law what these engineers who are, I don't know whether they're going to use drones or not, but I know that they are very, certainly, they're experts in this field. And we are trusting that they will give us something that will assist us going forward. And then at that point, I would love to sit with you and your group and go over all the possibilities. Okay.
Please.
I don't. Mike Bonks, 2 Sherwood. Tom, Tom, you mentioned about the contract copies. How about emailing them out if requested, instead of printing them? I can print them myself.
The process is, the idea is that if people want to come down and see it, it's fine. Meanwhile, the office is doing other things.
I realize
So,
that.
so it's the least intrusive way of interfering with the office work that's going on there. Just call and make an appointment. They'll pull the contract. They'll have it for you. You can take pictures of it, get
But-
copies of it.
But I'm still interrupting somebody that's working up there.
Well, but it's a process where they're planning for it. So they work that into their schedule. So
Okay,
that's the best way for it to work.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Laura Eugene Lucarelli, 63 Leeds Lane. This is just a little housekeeping matter. I just kind of feel bad. But is there any way, maybe it's been addressed before, that when you have these meetings, you could be up on the stage? Because with Zoom, it's one thing. You see where the camera's going. But when you're sitting in the back, all you do is see heads pop up because everybody's trying to see who's talking. And we can't see anything but other people's heads.
Yeah,
So just a question.
we've heard that from the last few minutes, last few meetings we had, because
Oh.
obviously the room is at capacity, and if you're way in the back,
Mhm,
it's hard to see us.
Right.
We get it. We could look at that. I know in the past, the boards did not like sitting higher than everyone else.
Mhm.
It was an optical thing, it doesn't, like
Yeah.
we're authority and we're higher or
Mhm.
better. We
Yeah.
wanted to be on the
But-
same level with
No,
everybody.
we're okay with that,
but-
but we don't know who's talking.
Well,
So
okay,
everybody's.
and it's a fair statement, and we can look
Yeah.
into that, and maybe we'll try a meeting like that and see how it works out.
Okay.
By the way, I suggested at the last meeting, because I had the same issue, that you stand up when you speak. I have a small question, Joe. I am very impressed that, oh, sorry, Tybee Lapkin to Halifax. I am very impressed that we have one council person who's willing to work with us on this. And I would like to know who that council person is.
Charles DePiero.
Thank you.
And he also was very instrumental with me for getting the no braking signs on Rhineville Road. And he was the only one that answered my requests after the council meeting. And I'm very, very, very disappointed in the council people that represent our ward have not responded. Thank you.
Thank you. A simple question. I don't understand why we have to clean the gutters, in the spring. Just a simple question from,
I can tell you as a homeowner in Whittingham, if you have trees around your home, and because these are undersized gutters, I'll be quite honest, they're dirty and they're plugged up all the time. Because you have trees that are dirty in the spring, dirty in the summer, and dirty in the fall. So there's always something in the gutter, and the holes where they drain, it's about the size of a silver dollar. Doesn't take much for it to get plugged up. So the best thing would be to put new gutters on there that are the right size, but that would be a capital expenditure, and it wouldn't be wise at this point, because at some point in the near future, the siding is going to be replaced. So when you do that, we'll replace everything, but you have a good point, and I understand why you're saying what you're saying. Thank you.
It's me again.
I just want to add one thing. The gutters are being changed when we change the roof. So it's tied with the roof, not with the siding.
Okay, if you'd give me 2 minutes without interruption, I'd appreciate it. Here's an example. Tom Clark, say, lives next to me, and he comes to me and he says, Carmine, I want to run a sewer line from behind my house to hook up to the sewer on the other side of your house. Can I do that? Sure, I'll give you an easement, and you put the pipe in. 2 years later, you come to me and the pipe is broke. You say, Carmine, fix the pipe. Okay? No, the pipe is yours. You asked for an easement. Okay? There's a lawyer here who doesn't know what an easement is. Okay? when this development was built, the builder gave WOA Homeowners Association an easement to run the pipes under the golf course. We did not sue Homeowners Association for the rights. They wanted us to pay for the damage that was done to the pipes over 20 years that had to be replaced. They wanted us to pay for it. Legally, we gave the Homeowners Association an easement. It is their responsibility to fix it. She talks about legal fees. We spent over $70,000 on legal fees just because we had to deal with Mary Barrett.
Okay, are you finished now?
Next speaker, please.
No, no,
Next speaker,
no,
please.
I'm going to answer this.
It is
The agree-
unnecessary. You don't have to.
Just a minute. I'm sorry, Tom. I have a right to speak. I'm an elected member of this board. I'm going to tell you something, Carmine. That settlement that we went into, you denied us the right, but you wouldn't include in there that we would have that building to protect our maintenance people. You would not allow that in that agreement. We have no agreement with the Golf Association, who cares nothing, as far as I'm concerned, about any. You keep getting up there saying how wonderful you are. It's for, and by the way, the agreement we signed said we are not to discuss this in public, but you, of course, have to do it.
Let's move on to another issue, please. Please, can you,
Hi,
Name and
Ann
address.
Matisoff, 116 Birmingham.
thank you.
I know you have to send out or propose 3 or 4 applications to do here, right? If anything, the engineering, did you send out, or did they come into you and say that usually you get 3
Yes, yeah, we interviewed a number of engineering firms. Yes,
for everything we're doing?
yes.
And these were the
And
middle of
this
the
was the
road?
group that was selected. Yes.
Okay, that's all.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Irene McNulty, 105 Chichester Road. I was wondering, as far as the copies of contracts, when the contract is signed, can a PDF copy be made of it? And can a resident request a PDF copy without a charge?
No, the process that's been laid out is the contract will be in the property manager's office, call, make an appointment. You can take pictures on your phone, or you can get copies. They'll make copies at 15 cents a sheet for you. And that's the process.
I had worked in a municipal government, and what we would do is we would, before the contracts were put away, filed away. And I think this might be an efficient way for the office staff too, because every time they get a call for a contract, they have to, make an appointment, see the people when they come in, and then the time for the person. Typically in a municipal government, you can't allow someone to have a contract without a member of the staff being present. So it might be something to consider.
Your point is well taken.
Okay.
And it's something we can consider.
Okay, thank you. And the other thing I wanted to mention is when we purchased our home, there was a $2,000 payment that we had to make. And I just, with all the, the high transition of homes in the community over the past several years, where does that money get placed and what is that used for?
Kathy, you can answer that.
Okay. That fee, which is paid by every individual who purchases a home, goes into what is called a discretionary reserve fund. That fund is used to basically fund any emergencies we have. If we fall short on any funding, we can use it to transfer money over. So it basically, if you can think of it as, it's a pool of money that we accumulate, that we use to fund anything that we need. For example, if we go over budget on an item and we now find ourselves kind of in a negative position, we can transfer money from the discretionary fund, that pool of funds, to cover that additional expense.
Okay. Okay, I thought it was actually for capital improvements. It wasn't for that?
We can use it for capital improvements. Again, we have the discretion to use it where it is needed.
So in other words, if, for instance, we have an overabundance of snow and we go over our budgeted amount for that, is that where that would be taken from?
We do have also a snow fund, another pool of money that accumulates. We do budget for snow every year. If it doesn't snow, that money goes into the snow fund, and that accumulates also. Now, if we have, I'm going to exaggerate, 10 snowstorms, and now we've used all the money in the snow fund, we can reach over to discretionary funds to take care of any additional need. So the discretionary fund, again, a pool of funds necessary for anyone, just like we all have savings accounts for this or savings account for that, where you can kind of transfer money in order to meet the needs of the development.
So when we look at the annual statement to see what was in that, it would be, are there any other funds that go into that discretionary besides that $2,000 that people pay?
Right, it's a little bit more, 2,500 for, yeah, correct.
Then it must have
Um,
gone up. I think it
are
was
there-
2,000 when we bought.
As far as I know, and Stan, if you can help me out, I don't think there's anything else that goes in there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Next speaker, name and address, please.
My name is Ed Cornfield. I live at 9 Wellington. Sir Jeep. Wow, that shocked you. You're 100% right. When I did my roof 2 years ago, it was an engineer as well as a roofer. And he said the roofs in our development are way too big for the gutters that we had. So I had changed to the larger, thicker gutters. And I also put on leaf fitters. And life has changed. I mean, the water pours down, there's no icicles, no damage to the roofs. It changes everything, that extra inch. So you're right. You may want to consider that, especially for the homes with the larger roofs. And it's for you, Joe. I mean, I think this whole place should applaud you. You have gone to bat for us to help with this McDonald's things. I think it's not only going to be a problem for traffic and for the driving itself and the danger to the people that are walking in the parking lot, but it's also going to change the land values too. And for those of you that care about your land values, you should be supporting this as well. I have a question. I can't help but notice that the noise from Prospect Plains Road has increased tremendously. Trucks, motorcycles, Dodge Challengers with bad mufflers, whatever you want to call it. Has something gone on, would you know about, that has changed, that is allowing this to happen?
It's the overbuilding of Monroe Township. Okay, it's been going on for the last 15 years. And it's not only the building of the age-restricted communities, it's the other communities that are involved. It now takes 3 cycles in the morning from 7:30 on Prospect Plains Road and Half Acre to get through that light. And that's right behind my house, and that's why I know. So the only way we can stop that is by stopping the overbuilding in this town. And unfortunately, the current administration is geared to, and I'm not going to get political here, please, I'm not going to do that. Okay, we need to stop the overbuilding. It's got to stop because I believe we're becoming another Staten Island. That's
Yeah,
my
but-
opinion. No, I won't do that.
But, there is a difference between the overbuilding and the truck noise on the road. And
Okay.
I'll take questions soon. Because there was discussion about which roads would be available for trucks. And I understood that Prospect Plains Road was to be one of them?
Answer that because the township did a study on truck traffic. And basically, they were going to go to the county and make certain areas limited as far as tonnage and as far as the gross weight of the trucks. That hasn't come through yet. So hopefully I can go to the council and I can say, where are we now? But right now, Prospect Plains Road is like the Belt Parkway. Okay? And sorry. So that's, I can only say to you, I will try. I will go to council and I'll express your views to that. That's all I can do. I've got some things done so far and I keep on trying, people.
And lastly, because she's been very patient, we're a big voting block here at Greenbrier, Concordia. We carry some weight. Have we ever thought about having the mayor actually come down here to an open meeting and hear what the people have to say? Not in the 2 years since I've.
We do have them.
Or 3 years.
I'm on a civic club. We have the mayor coming next month. I'll be sending out a notice soon.
Okay, Stephen, thanks. Thank you all.
Barbara Augusta, 31D Rutland. Hi, Joe. I want to know, when we have our chimneys and our filters checked out every other year, I guess it is, why can't they check the water heaters? I've had 2 leaks. I can't begin to tell you, the woman above me had a water heater that was like 20 years old. I was floating in water. I'm so disgusted. I feel like I want to move out. But I love the community and I really don't want to leave. So could there be something that could be done about this? Water heaters should be like what? Checked out, I mean, new water heaters should be put in like 8 to 10 years, not 20 years.
Your point is well taken. I don't know if there's anything we can mandate as a board on that, but it's something we could look into.
Yes? I appreciate it.
If the water heater in your home is owned by the owner of the house, as an association, we require enough things. I really don't think anybody wants us to now tell you, you must change your water heater at every certain period. I understand what you're saying, but we don't have that authority and we shouldn't have that authority.
Huh? Second time, yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, the gentleman up here will be the last speaker here. Is up here? Yes, you are. So, okay. Go ahead, sir.
Raymond Monaco, 8 Stonewick. I don't know if the people in this room are aware of the, someone going on in this area, that they're buying up properties in Howell and others, and they're renting them out to illegals. I just want to know what the provisions are as far as renting in this community, whether you have to be a citizen or not. Does anybody know that? It affects everybody's property, by the way, just so you know that. And
I
they're
could-
buying them up in Howell, sorry, Joe, in other areas, and.
What
yeah,
I could
so-
tell you is this.
Thank you.
At the 2 council meetings ago, that hot topic was brought up. And one person came up and said, what is the plan in Monroe Township in the event of an influx of newcomers, for lack of a better term? I want to be politically correct here. And the answer was, there is no plan. So Ray, that's not a question for us.
But just,
That's
excuse
a
me,
question for the town council that they have not answered yet and they refuse to address.
so Greenbrier or Whittingham doesn't have a
I believe,
provision?
I
with
believe,
respect to the
I
citizen?
believe that, correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, but I believe that if a person's renting a place here, there's a screening process, is that right?
There's a process in place if you want to rent. And I can't tell you that process off the back of my hand. Does anyone here from staff have any information on that?
The documents. and
I
see
think
what-
it has to be, it has to be age restricted no matter what. You have a very good point. We should look into it, because this is all something new. So,
Okay, I think it's.
very well
vital to-
taken.
It makes sense. Thank you. And by the way, thank you.
However, I
putting
want to
up with
add
all this
to this
aggravation.
that it is very questionable whether any place in this government, in this United States of freedom, can turn around and tell someone if you're not a citizen, you're not allowed to rent. I've never heard of it. I would be absolutely distraught by the whole thing. You can't do that. This is a free country. If the owner wants to rent and they can afford to pay it, whatever rent, that's our country, at least for now.
Yeah, all of
He, and if they are here illegally, then you have to go, if anywhere, you go to the Border Patrol. But there's a lot of people who have been here illegally for all their lives. This is a very tough question for people to decide upon, okay? Oh, all right. Well, you may not like illegal people because they are illegal.
Okay, okay.
That's up to
All
you.
right, let's not have the back and forth. But next speaker, can I get your name and address, please? Karen?
Let's
Karen,
not get
please
into
behave
national-
yourself. Thank you.
National politics, no.
Can
I am Michael Cohn. I live in 96C Winthrop. Can you hear me? Okay. I live in a golf house. I play golf. I love the golf course. But this arrangement seems counterproductive. Is it naive of me to ask, going forward, is there a way to like change the relationship and have it all under one? No, impossible? I mean, instead of them suing us and us suing them,
No,
can't we be like,
It can't be changed because they are a private organization and you have to accept that. That's the way golf is on its own, by itself. It has nothing to do with here. The fact that the builder, when they did this, required Greenbrier to be members of golf, doesn't change the fact that they are two separate corporations.
and you're saying that can never be changed?
Ask golf. I'm sure that can't be
I'm
changed.
just, I don't know. I'm just asking. I mean, it just seems, it always seemed crazy to me, but be that as it may. The other thing I wanted to ask is, I know in the last meeting, you guys were saying there'll be a surplus this year with the changes with maybe the maintenance company. Surplus this year, surplus the year after, or you said something about $100,000 this year and 250. Is that possible? Will that lower our maintenance? Is that a possibility? No? Crazy? Crazy of me to
I-
ask, right?
hold
I
on.
shouldn't ask.
I wish I could say that.
Okay.
As of yet, we obviously don't know, again, capital reserve studies, I'm going to bring that up. So we really don't know with this new law, what we will be required to fund. Now, we all know, I've said it before, the previous board said it many times, we are underfunded in our capital reserves. That is not a good thing. The only thing we could do is try to ramp that up a little bit without hurting the community. So this savings of approximately 120,000 in 2024 and roughly 230,000 in 2025, it would be ideal to take that and move that. Again, and we don't know yet because we haven't seen even the first quarter's financials yet.
But you probably need that for reserves. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
It would
mean,
most likely move over to reserves. But listen, and I want to try to explain this. If we move that money, that savings into reserve, that's less money we would hit you with in the long run. So again, without having any numbers in front of me, if we were going to increase your maintenance by X amount because we had to increase capital reserves, that amount will be covered in some portion by this savings. So it is to your benefit, one way or another. It's to your benefit in your pocket, my pocket, everyone's pocket. But ultimately, it may not be reduced maintenance fees. I wish I could say that. Oh my goodness, I wish I could say that. And
Yes,
yes, Harris.
I just want to end this on a very positive note. If that handsome man, the one sitting right over there, if he sells the golf course to WOA and somehow we find the money,
Come on, put a number out.
we'll do it.
We gotta agree on something with that. It's just, it's counterproductive, you know, right? I mean, you want me to get involved? Raise the maintenance fee.
All right. Seeing no one else, and that concludes the open forum part of the meeting. I will have a motion moved by Jay. Do I have a second? Second by Karen. Everyone, thank you very much for coming tonight. Thank you.